I know I've kept you guys waiting far too long, but here it is, the Master Grade Double Zeta Ver.Ka. When it comes to Ver.Ka kits, I have a certain expectation. Migraines. Sure, there's some of the most innovative mecha model kits on the market, but sometimes I feel Katoki pushes a little bit too far, and the out-of-box experience with these kits is far from perfect. Usually, I find you need to throw a lot of your own effort on top just to make sure the damn thing stands up. Which honestly is the main reason I don't ever review these kits. But this right here, the Master Grade Double Zeta Ver.Ka, has blown all my expectations completely away. It's a big transformable Ver.Ka kit, and I expected a giant marionette plastic hand grenade Jenga experience. But what I got was the most impressive transforming Master Grade I have ever seen. Now let's find out why. So there is the Master Grade Double Zeta Gundam Ver.Ka out of the box and snapped together with some very minor panel lining. But even with such a minimum amount of effort put in, this thing looks absolutely fantastic, just like you would expect from a Ver.Ka kit. However, there are a bunch of other things you would expect with a Ver.Ka kit that this kit doesn't have. I will get to them later on. However, I will mention though, all of those are for the better. This kit right here is definitely an old school look with a new age vibe completely. The colors, as you can see right there, are those classic primary blue, yellow, and red, finished off with a pure brilliant white. Color-wise, nothing has been added to this to make it more than what it actually is. No crazy embellishments to the color from the original design. This is just a perfect capturing of the Double Zeta, just in an extremely modern, well-engineered package. The color scheme has just been kept simple and classic. However, one addition I really do like are these silver parts. As you saw in the unboxing video, these are just spray painted a kind of very light silver, like a mithril silver. These have a kind of brushed silver kind of look, so they're not too garish, they're not reflective, and all in all they're just really subtle. They look so good. Also, the eyes in there aren't your standard one-piece foil seal. These are actually two individual foil seals, and the black part is part of the inner frame of the head, so that all looks extremely sharp and also very pleasing to look at once you get right in close to the nitty-gritty. Also, another thing to mention, a lot of those parts like on the shoulders, the crotch, and the sides of the legs and whatnot, they aren't just pointless separation of parts. All of those are actual moving parts, and I assume will have something to do with the transformation later on, but for now they just look really nice. This right here is my first time ever taking a look at a Master Grade Double Zeta, or actually any Double Zeta at all. And I have to say, without a single doubt at all, this thing is impressive. But as usual with a Master Grade Ver.Ka, it does look good, but how does it hold up? That is the real question. As for accessories, there is the Master Grade Double Zeta Ver.Ka with everything that it comes with. So up first, what we've got is a second core fighter. As for the other one that's actually in here, those two parts on the waist you can see right there are these two parts sticking out on this. So to transform this, so first take off the landing gear down here on the bottom, pops out here as well as down here. The little wings pop in, these parts push up, this part flips around, and so does this part. And as you can see, this part here is what's in there. Just flip this up and you can see into the cockpit. There is no cockpit figure in this one. That's the one I have put into this one here, as well as this one in here. So you can get two, but you've got three cockpits. Next up then, we've got two base adapters. This one's for when it's in mobile suit mode, and this one right here I assume is for when it's transformed. I guess we'll find out once we transform it. As for the hands on this kit, they're the type with the swappable fingers, a little bit different to the ones we've seen before because the thumb here does have 2 points of articulation. And besides the fist that was just attached there, we've also got these widespread open fingers, and these aren't actually... These have a tab here towards the end of the fingers, and that is for attaching into this section of the beam sabers. So these hands right here, they are for holding the beam sabers. And included in here we have a pair of those. Lastly then, for the interchangeable fingers is this one here. This is only a right hand version, and this is for holding the double beam rifle. Lastly then, we've got a pair of these kind of fists, and these are for using when it's transformed. So that's pretty cool that there's an extra pair of hands, which is just simple, solid, and not too finicky for using in the transformation. That's pretty cool. Next up in here then, we've got that 1/100 scale figure of Judo Ashita. Next up then, we've got the double beam rifle, which looks absolutely fantastic. The color separation on this thing is ace. The only thing you could potentially complain about is the fact that the clear piece in here isn't color accurate, but then again, that is better for some people who want to customize their kits. There is a foil sticker included, but personally I'd prefer to just paint it in a clear green. We've also got some of those silver painted parts on here which really look good. Those catch the light perfectly. However, these ones right here, they do have a very noticeable mark on there, so you can't really clean these off so well. So if you are quite picky, you may have to pick up some matching paint, sand that off and redo it. Also, I'm pretty sure that you probably wouldn't want to leave the pilot figure in here when it's being used as a rifle, because I don't think any pilot wants to be upside down in the back of a gun piloting their mobile suit. But anyway, of course, because this is part of the transformation, there's a whole lot going on in regards to articulation and moving parts on this. This thing right here is extremely impressive. Lastly then, in here we've got two beam saber beam effects, and these things are huge. These look like 1/60th scale, not 1/100th scale beams, like maybe from a perfect grade or something like that, but these are big. Of course, these up here on the back are the handles. They pop off simply like that, pop onto the bottom of those like so, and like I mentioned before, these pop into these kind of widespread hands there, just like so. As you can see, these things are absolutely huge. So far so good, but I'm moving on to the part now that is making me cringe a bit, and that of course is the articulation. You may have noticed that there isn't really any Ver.Ka reviews on this channel, and the reason is because these things are usually a nightmare. That thing almost gave me a fucking stroke. But anyway, here we go. There is the head all the way up, all the way down, side to side, so you're not going to get much more than that out of it. As it's a ball joint, there is that little bit of side to side tilt. This section up here on the shoulder can move down and up like that, as well as rotate. This little section here that flips up like that. There is that arm all the way up. As you can see, there's two joints in here. You can move it up and down there, as well as there's another joint in there. Rotation here at this point. The bend at the elbow. As for the hands, it feels like they only rotate like this. The thumb can move around at this ball joint here, and we've got one bendable joint at the center there. This part back here that can drop open like that, and these two wing or shield bits can move up and down like that. As for the ab crunch, I don't expect there to be anything, and no, there isn't, because there's a core fighter in there. That means no articulation. We do have some rotation side to side, but not really. It's all focused down here, and we'll end up moving these around. As for down here at the skirting armor, we've got up, down to the side like that, side skirting up, and rotation a little bit. The double Zeta doesn't actually have rear skirting armor, just a bare arse. On the front here, we've got a little chin window. As for the legs, there they are, all the way up to the front, all the way out to the back, and so much for this thing being a statue. That's good. There are the legs all the way out to the sides. The skirting armor seems to get a bit in the way there, but that's about all you can get for the splits. There be the bend at the knee, so a little over 90 degrees. One more time, there's it straight, and there's the bend. This little piece here wiggles a little. In the back here, there is an absolutely fantastic locking mechanism. At first, I didn't really know how to figure it out. I was just messing with it for ages, but then when I got it to lock, it is really good. This is some top class mecha design right here. So once it's locked in, it never gives you any issues, and to unlock it, it just pulls out like that, then down, and as you can see, the whole thing is really loose and out of joint there for the transformation, but it just locks into place perfectly. Man, every time I touch this, I find even more moving parts. This thing is crazy detailed. These little pieces here flip out and in like that. A slight bit of articulation at this part here. The same goes for these two side armor parts here. And finally, at the ankle, there is the foot all the way down, all the way up. That kind of gets in the way a little bit. There's all the way up. We have a side to side pivot here, so that's pretty cool. Rotation all the way around, and this funny little piece back here can tuck in and tuck out. Whoops, almost forgot about the backpack that moves up and down like this. We've got articulation here at the parts that attach on the beam saber handles. These missile compartments here, those open up like that. Little flaps here above the verniers move up and down. And finally, these little wing parts move up and down like that. So all in all, the articulation on this is much better than I initially thought it would be. Much better. But anyway, that means the last thing then, ho ho ho, the transformation. But anyway, let's do this. So finally there is the G-Fortress mode. The transformation itself is pretty simple. The legs is a little bit on the complex side, but everything just seems to work, for a change. Also, the G-Fortress mode looks fantastic. Like, this actually looks like some kind of spaceship. As opposed to a lot of transformations which just kind of look like a buckled, crippled, messed up Gundam, this looks really good. Definitely impressed with this one. So we also have a couple of landing gears here, one in the front that pulls out and down like that, and the other ones around here on the back of the knees, which pop out like so. So of course the G-Fortress can be disassembled into two separate parts, so let's pop it off at the waist. Come on! Oh wait, I need to flip this little piece up like this first. There we go, and off it comes. Simple. So right here is the core top, and that looks absolutely fantastic. Look, seriously, this is one of the best flight form parts of a Gundam I've ever seen. This is savage cool. Once again, we do have a base adapter right here for that, but I couldn't be arsed sticking it on right now, I'm tired. But anyway, this part flips down like this, so that's the front. As for the rear landing gears, they're in the back here, so pop that out like so. Pop out this part, they move back out like this, and the landing gears flop out like that. As for the core base, just move these little sections back down like that. These little wing sections go up and out. Flip out this section here. And there we go, there is the core base.